This product is a student management system which enables admins to view the locations of students as assigned into various locations around the school building for emergency and attendance purposes. The reasons for this have been further discussed in the appendices and in Criterion A, so feel free to refer to those. I will be testing this web application using this test plan, and feel free to pause the video or refer to Criterion B for further information. This is the login page for the student management system. So if I try to log in without entering anything, it prompts me to fill out the field. So if I fill out gibberish, it tells me to add in the form of an email. If I try to log in further, it prompts me for a password. The password is of type password to avoid shouldering, and characters are not displayed on the screen. Logging in now, I get an error message that the email is not found. If I were to log in now with a correct email address and enter an incorrect password, for example, I'll just type something in, and I log in, I get an error message saying the password is incorrect. Now if I'm logging in with the correct email and the correct password for the admin account, I'll be directed to the admin page with a personalized greeting saying hello client. And as you can see, there's a list of students presented in a table format, each of which have add strike, and delete student buttons. And I can see them that they're sorted by last name, MSHASHI, and I can see their sign-in times and their sign-in locations if they have not requested an exemption. So this partially it concludes success criteria 1. Now, for success criteria 4, this is partially complete as I can view all students alphabetically by last name, but I should also be able to add and delete student accounts, add parents, and view all locations and view individual student information. So I can view individual student information by clicking on the link in the first name, and I can see the student information for Samuel. I can also see the parent information for Samuel. I've included a button to reveal and hide the password to avoid shouldering using event listeners and event handlers in JavaScript. Going back to the home page, I can now add a new student. Once I get to the password, if I type in a matching password that is not 8 characters, I'll get an error saying please lengthen this text to 8 characters. If I enter passwords that do not match, the client-side validation also picks up that passwords must match. And if I enter passwords that do match and are 8 characters long, I get a different message saying that passwords must contain numbers, letters, and symbols. And now the student is successfully added. I can add parent as well, and I can choose from a drop-down of students, and their ID will be displayed, and I can now add in the parental details. After adding in the parent, I'm redirected to the admin page, and as you can see, the new student, Manny Blackrook, has indeed been added and inserted alphabetically into this web page. And they start off with 3 strikes, and he also has requested an exemption as the account has just been created, and he's also given a student ID. Now, that partially completes success criteria 4. Moving to success criteria 7, I should be able to add and delete strikes for all of these students. So if I add strikes to Samuel, since he's already at 3 strikes, I can no longer add strikes. If I delete a strike, and then I can add a strike because it's not at 3. If I move down to 0, I cannot further delete any strikes. And to complete success criteria 7, I should, if I click on a list of 0 strike emails, be able to see his parent's email. This is his parent's email. Going back, he is the only student with 0 strikes, so if I click on the 0 strike emails, I can indeed see only his mother's email address. To complete success criteria 4, I can click on locations to view all locations. Now, this code does not look very secure for the library, so I can complete success criteria 6 by going to the admin homepage, selecting the library, and generating a new code for the library. I will copy this code for now, for demonstration purposes. If I go back to the homepage, I can now go on to locations, and I can see that the code has now been updated. To complete success criteria 5, and now that completes success criteria 6, but to complete success criteria 5, I can also add a new location such as another cafe with a code. And if I add that, I should also be able to delete this location, which has successfully been done. From the admin page, I can now also log out, completing success criteria 1. I can now log in to the student page. I have now logged into the student page, and now I can sign into the newly added location, which is a library. I can choose from a drop-down menu, and I can say yes or no for the exemption. So if I say no, and if I try to sign in without entering a code, I get an error message saying I need a location and a code, or an exemption and a note. So I can now paste the code I have copied and sign in, and I can see signed in successfully. Before logging out, I can view information, and I can, as you can see, I can view the student information and the parent information. However, the password is not available as the client requested it to be this way. This completes success criteria 2, and the login completes success criteria 8 partially. We will discuss exemptions later. I can now log out from the student page, and success criteria 1 is successful for the student page as well. For success criteria 3, users should not be able to access any pages of the interface if they are not logged in. If I type in this also partially would complete success criteria 9, which is network error handling. I would normally get a 404 not found error if I click on this URL because this does not exist. However, if I enter it, I'm redirected back to the login page and the program fails gracefully. If I try to log into the student page just through the URL, I'm also redirected back to the login page. So success criteria 9 is partially completed and success criteria 3 is fully completed. As all forms are successfully submitted, CSRF tokens are also used. Logging in as the admin account, I can scroll down to Samantha, whose account I was just on, and she has indeed signed into the library at the given time successfully, and the table has been updated. If admins try to log into the student page, just by doing this, they're unable to, and they're redirected back to the admin page. If students try to access the admin page, for example, by typing in the URL, they're also redirected back to the student page. To meet success criteria 9, the web application must size to a smaller screen so that mobile devices can also be adapted to, and indeed this login page demonstrates just that. If I sign in as a student account, I can see that even the student page adapts accordingly. And if I want to request an exemption, for example, if I say yes, and if I say I have a meeting today, Samuel's page before showed in the sign-in location. I can successfully sign in with an exemption, and it gives me a success message. The navigation bar has collapsed, and I can click on the button to view all of the options, and I can log out here. Logging in as the admin page, I can indeed see that Samuel's status has been updated with the exemption being yes, and I have a meeting today as we had just typed in. And we can also see that the table does not fit, as this would make it unreadable, and the buttons are spaced out to prevent misclicks. Moreover, the navigation bar still collapses and expands accordingly. To complete success criteria 4, I can also delete a student from this page, so I can delete Samuel, and he is indeed deleted from the entire page. While this product meets all of the success criteria, there are a few improvements that could be made. For example, as the list of students grows, there could be a search incorporated to allow the admin to search for a particular student to speed up the process. Secondly, instead of listing out zero-strike emails such as this could instead allow for an automatic email to be sent to these emails to save the admin some effort. Finally, for the last one, if I generate a new code for any location, such as the Wellbeing Garden, this page could be saved as a PDF to further improve the experience for the admin. Those are 3 improvements for this product.